guest talk. But actually, we're really happy to be here. And I used to live in Budapest for 3 years.
I can play with the dog with the laser. It's awesome. Sorry.
Okay. So I'm always happy to come back here to Budapest because it's like I really love this city.
It's my third time this year, actually, to be in Budapest. So, yeah, we do love this city.
We both like it here. And we understand it's been like a really, really long day, so we appreciate very much that you are guys still here. And we're going to try to make it fun. So we would like to play a video of...
Massaging an opossum?
Yes, how to massage an opossum.
But at the end, so you stay. Yep, that's the treat.
That's the treat. That this lady, she's the.
It's awesome.
She's the expert. First, we would like to share with you our story about how we built a UX team in one of the largest Czech banks, and we would like to maybe like give you some tips that you can start doing tomorrow. We also would like to talk about some mistakes we've made so that you don't have to make them.
Yeah. Maybe a short introduction. Czech Republic is roughly size of Hungary. This is the top 4 banks. Biggest Česká spořitelná legacy ex-communist retail bank. They claim to have 4.5 million users owned by Erste. Then there's 2 trade banks, ČSOB and KB, also owned by mother in a different country. And then there's us, MONETA Money Bank. We used to be GE Money Bank, but we went through IPO and now we are publicly traded on Prague Stock Exchange. All 4 these banks are pretty old, with Česká about 120 years. They have legacy systems, they have legacy processes, they have legacy people. So it's kind of challenge to do new stuff in there. And we will be talking a lot about transformation. This is where we actually proudly lead the way. We are the farthest from the Czech banks in transforming. To be only bank that doesn't have the mother is great because we don't have people from Vienna or Paris coming to tell us what to do and how to do it. But also there's a pressure on short-term results from our shareholders. Sorry. Why MONETA is obviously the best bank to work for. I worked for 3 of the 4 biggest for quite a while. MONETA is orphan, as I mentioned. Every decision is made in the building that I am in, so this is great when you want to influence those decisions. Also, until 2016, it was heavily underinvested, digitally wise. So there was, from the day one, like a shitload of things to do and fix and create from scratch, basically. And also, we are relatively small with only like 3,500 employees. So you kind of know everyone important. When you have the bank with nothing digital, as we were in 2016, you start with the obvious. You don't do like the big innovations or stuff. You just need to create mobile app or do like digital onboardings or like online správu. Self-care for the fee income products. So 3.5 years back, let's rewind.
Yeah, we were both of us hired to the bank to help with the final launch, to finalize the launch of the mobile app, like the very brand new and the very first mobile app of this bank. We became the part of the very first agile team of this bank. But we weren't hired like as a UX researcher or UX designer because like I was hired as someone who was supposed to gather and analyze post-launch feedback of this application, which basically meant like to collect everything people were complaining about, like bugs, usability issues, and maybe like some feature requests. And Honza was hired as Mr. Photoshop to help with the final touch to make nice buttons and like beautiful wizards and lots of promotional materials. And we were supposed to stay there for a couple of weeks. and then like go. And this really was like 3.5 years ago, and we are still there.
So what went wrong? As an Excel lady and Photoshop guy, you just do things people tell you what to do, basically. But soon we kind of like seen, because she's a researcher and I'm a designer, we saw the space how to improve stuff. So even though we weren't asked to, Bela started talking to users and did some usability testings and talked to bankers. And I started to get data from all around the bank, and we just redesigned the app based on all that evidence. And the whole team of the mobile application was really happy with it because it was like really cool, and it was all like data-based decision making. So it was wow, but was it really that easy?
Actually, we struggled a lot with incorporating the UX work to the newly established agile team. It was because it was a totally new ways of working for both of us and for the rest of the team. At the beginning, we were trying to fit everything into 2-week sprint. So research, design, usability testing, and development, which obviously was impossible. It's not possible just to do this. But this wasn't just about slowing the team down. There was like lots of misunderstanding about why we actually want to talk to our users. And this is, we don't need to ask people what they want. We are the experts. This is the quote of our Scrum Master, because he couldn't understand why we need to do it, because he saw like, we are paid to know.
A lot of money, to be honest. But then we won a prize, an application of the year, overall prize in the Czech Republic. This is us celebrating very drunk. And basically, just to give you a recipe how to do it, you can take any product, MVP product, you build up on it with the research and user experience design, you collect the feedback, you prioritize it. I have to say we have a stunning and devoted team, all the analysts, all the developers, all the testers, and our product owner does lots of marketing, which doesn't seem like an important thing with banking application, but it really is important. And we won lots of prizes. We're out of the wall, so they're like laying on the floor. And winning the prizes actually confirmed our role in the bank of the user experience research and user experience design. What we did, we involved teams from other departments like compliance and legal to our work to be involved from the very start. We purchased enterprise and vision license so we could spread designs throughout the bank and share them with anyone from like ideas or feedback. And we changed the usability from like one-time activity to like continuous process. And Bela did wonderful things. She gathered, analyzed feedback from all the possible sources. We created customers' wish list, and in each release of the application, once a monthly, we included like few of the functionalities that our clients requested. So we have like 30% of this list already out and in a production. And then?
Everything was just like amazing and bright and shiny. We felt like we were on the top of the world until we looked around.
I clicked, it doesn't work.
Until we looked around and we realized this was just a really, really small part of this, and all of the other channels and products were actually untouched by user experience. What could we do at that time? Like, we could go peak by peak, one by one. It would take like an extremely long time, and I don't think this would be a work for just two of us. What helped extremely was that the bank was just starting going through a digital and agile transformation, which is, I guess, guys, something you've been talking about here all day. And
so let's remind ourselves what digital and agile transformation is, because this slide is just too hilarious not to show. In classic enterprise, you have many different departments. You have the product, you have the IT, you have the legal, you have the marketing, you have the, I don't know, each acting on their own, like building the walls, silos. So you can imagine each department is a fruit. So you have banana department and kiwi department and orange department and blueberry department, and they're not even from same country or same continent. They need different soil or grow on tree or whatever, different amount of water. They have thick skins around to protect them. So basically what you do is you take them and you slice them, each one of them, and then you make nice little fruit salads with whipped cream on the top. And because you have so many fruits in the beginning, then you have so many fruit salads. In our case, it was 10 fruit salads, and there was our agile teams, or as we call them, squads.
What it meant for the bank was that there were 10 new digital teams set up, each of them with an objective to deliver a product within 3 months. And everyone wanted the magic UX powder to be sprinkled all over those products, because obviously this is how it works. And for us, I mean like 2 of us, it meant that we were asked to hire more than 15 people in 1 month to be put into those agile teams. And all of the competencies like researchers, designers, and visual designers as well. We wanted to hire experienced people because we needed them to start working straight away. We didn't have room for juniors. But by experienced people, at the time we meant people who could work with like those design tools we have been already working with, so such like Sketch, InVision, and other things. Yeah.
And so it was March 1st, 2017. All those 15 people plus 15 plus people with us started
just that
working in the team, and it was awesome because from the start we had totally the same problems, but again, everybody wanted to start working right away. So there were actually developers hired that were sitting in the bank and had nothing to do. So there was like this big pressure. Just there's no time for research. Just do it somehow. There's no time for like iterative design, for usability testing. Just we need the images so we can code them, so we can release them. And so instead of 1 team to explain, we had 10 teams to explain. And on top, the outcomes were just a mess because there were 10 designers doing 10 different processes. So at one time, we had 10 different buttons across the bank. So, and you don't really want that. So basically, started all again. Only this time it was much bigger.
The only way how to overcome this was to join our forces, because as we've already said, like in Agile, like each of us wants sitting with his own team, so fighting together. So to be able to do something together, we got some time. It was very limited time, 1 hour per week we could spend as like UX people together, and we used this time to share what each of us is working on, to educate each other. We even, this is something we like, everything like we still do, we invite other teams from other different big companies to come to us and to share their experiences so that we can be inspired by this. And we present the team big picture, and we talk about the whole user experience of the bank, because this is important what we do. And we even started to work on the design system, so that we keep the things we produce consistent.
Yeah, we did.
We did.
Just to give you an idea how we organized, we have we call them squads, the agile teams. We have 3 channel squads, then we have product squads, And then we have shared resources, which is basically research. We move around because at the time that we did like new website, the website team had like 5 people of the UX competence. Now, because it's only maintenance, the site is launched, it's only 1, so people moved around to different teams. And maybe we would like to go through some things that we did as this community that might be helpful to you. Click.
We used to be 4 researchers in our UX community, which means we did, like, let's say 6 usability testing a month. It's a lot, and it just started being impossible to pay for an agency to give us those participants for our research every time we wanted them. And we needed actually a constant feed of the participants. So we just built a panel of respondents, which is basically like a long list of people that are willing to come anytime we need them, talk to us. And we constantly recruit them via different channels, such as like Facebook banners, and we even like send push notifications to our mobile app. And people, when they see it, if they're interested, they can click on it. They get to a survey where we get information about them, like what banks and products they use, what devices they have like to operate their bank accounts. And it used to take us 3 weeks to set up usability testing with 5-6 people. Now, if we need to, we can manage in just 3 days, thanks to the panel of participants we have.
Yes. You don't really need usability lab for the usability testing. Oh, but it's so great to have one. We used to rent external ones, but they were costly. They were far away from the bank, so it was difficult to get our colleagues to. So we were there like alone. There was one that had wine in the fridge, which was great. It took us about a year to convince the management because we had like cutting costs. It was immediately available in case we needed it. We could share it with the whole bank, like with marketing for the focus groups. And also we could get colleagues into it because it is actually on the 2nd floor. It took about a year to plan it, design it, and construct it. We designed it ourselves based on our experience with all the different like testings we did before in different labs or in the field. And we opened it half a year ago to be basically first bank in the Czech Republic. Mm-hmm. We say first bank in the Czech Republic. And we do 1 to 2 testings weekly. First one had a big attendance of like 20 people watching what's happening. And it actually got a lot of attention in the bank because it's on the 2nd floor, people going around it, they start asking what is it. So we did an open door event. We invited people to come from all the different like teams, departments, whatever you name it, answer their questions. We invite them to come to the testing regularly. And it's not all just internal PR for the UX competence. It's also actually got lots of attention from the media. We had like major newspapers writing an article about us. We had Czech TV coming only last week ago. It was a week ago. And we have another one coming in December. So the message that we want to spread with the lab is that it gets our colleagues to see our actual clients because they only know them from spreadsheets and PowerPoints. And also our clients help us build better services. So you can use that in your presentation.
And we have a guy who is taking care of the lab. I guess you might have heard about like a thing called research ops. It's quite like recent within the like user research community, something being discussed like within like year and a half, I guess. And so yeah, this is our research ops guy who helps us like enormously. And he is taking care of the whole like panel of respondents we have. So once we know what we want to test or what we don't know like type of people we want to talk to, we brief him. And he goes through our panel of respondents, he filters those people, and he calls them, sends them emails, and he's just organizes everything, and I can just come on the day of the testing, and it's like organized. And he's also the one who is taking care of all the, GDPR paperwork and the whole administration when we pay the participants, because like we obviously reward them for participating. And yeah, and he takes care of the whole lab, like of the whole like technical stuff, like cameras, microphones, and recordings. And it's like a huge help when we need to do like a lot of research.
Yeah, he actually loves the last part the most, because we have like remote operated video cameras, and it's really cool. Speaking of research ops, let's have a look at our design ops. Remember, we had the 10 different buttons, so we had this huge activity of all the like UX and UI designers coming into the meeting, and then we shown each other buttons to ourselves. That's the sentence. And then we were trying to merge everything, so we started with the buttons, then we went through the forms, then through the nav bars, then through the footers, and from there, like, everything went wrong. We hired a guy who was like really great, like coder, and he was really great with design system, and he was so bad with people skills. So basically, he was going around the bank. You remember those different agile teams, and he got into argument with like everyone. So everyone hated him. Everyone hated the design system. The React developers created a component, but they didn't share it with other React developers. So another React developer created the same or different component again, and the product owners were in sync. So each one wanted little like tweaks. So from one component, there was like 5 components within a month, each little different. There was no pressure to do things like in a unified way. So we really failed miserably, to be honest. And what are we doing now is that we are restarting this whole activity. It's going to be a project for the whole next year, and we will include the whole bank, including people like architecture, enterprise architecture, and like process analysts, because all those people need to be involved in creating the design system for the bank, honestly.
I just said a while ago that we used to be 4 user researchers. We are not anymore because reasons. People just leave, and we didn't always manage to replace them. So it was actually necessary for us, and I'm glad it happened, to include the designers into the research more. And so we started training them. Some of them wanted, some of them didn't really want. But now when we have a new designer joining the team in the bank, he has to go through a training because he has to be involved. He or she has to be involved.
Or they.
Or they.
We're inclusive.
So what we do first is some kind of like theory, and then practice as soon as possible. So we usually prepare the whole usability testing together. Then we grab one of our colleagues to do a pilot, but this is actually the only time I allow to test with a colleague, because otherwise it's a no-go for me. And then we get like a real usability testing with real participants, and the designer gets to moderate it. But like, what's the most important, I think, it's to give the designer feedback at the end. And what I like to do is to pick one of those one of those videos we have with the sessions, and we sit together and we watch the full session with the designer, and we look for stuff that could be done better next time. Some designers are just like talented from the very beginning. Some need more rounds. Some will maybe always need to have like a little help of a researcher. But still, this is really is helping us a lot.
On behalf of the he or she, we have actually 33%, 1/3 of women in the team, which is great. And it's not half, but it's the right direction. It's great to have women on the design team. We do not only train designers. We learned that we need to train our colleagues. I quickly learned that people in enterprise, people do not talk to each other, and they have no idea what everybody else is doing, which is we are kind of designers. We are kind of eager, like, to know stuff. They are not. They have tunnel vision. So I was surprised when I there was like this one initiative, and then I found out there's another initiative that solves completely same problem, and then I found out there are 3 others. There's like 5 initiatives solving the same problem. And what we do to tackle this is we invite people and facilitate workshops. It was really awkward at the beginning because the people, they're like, oh, 4 hours? Are you crazy? They're used to like having like half-an-hour meetings. And they didn't want to attend, they become easily bored. So what we use is that we always have to include like ideation or drawing phase, because that's something people love. We use it like carrot on the stick. Oh, at the end, that will be ideation phase. And we have this guy who is actually specialized in facilitation of the workshops. We created our own workshop formats because we have specific needs. So like we don't do design sprints, but we do something that is maybe similar, but it's tailored for us. And we're still not good at it, but we're getting better and better. And the workshops are way to go.
Remember how we said that we had like 1 month to hire more than 15 people? And we wanted those with experiences, and at the time for us it meant that people who could work with all those design tools. It worked at the time when we needed it, but we kind of sooner than later we realized that if we want to build like a true user experience competence in the bank, we need people who can do a bit more than like drawing wireframes and nice buttons. We needed people with drive, with those who are happy to keep explaining folks in the bank why we do what we do. Those who can actually facilitate workshops. This is what Honza was just talking about, who like to engage with their colleagues. So now, when we need to hire new people, we focus on this. We try to find out much more about the mindset of this person, not just the hard skill. And we also need them to be a great fit into our UX community. So we usually, before we hire them, we invite them to our like weekly UX meeting to discuss with us and to see if they think they would be a good fit as well.
Yeah, we've lost 2 minutes, so we're going to speed up. From the beginning, we built the community like in guerrilla warfare style. We weren't tasked to do it. We were meeting kind of secretively. Is that a word? Secretively, thank you very much. But actually, in the last year, like 1 year after the agile transformation started, the community activities really started to pick up. We have like tester community or React community, and the chief operating officer kind of like promotes these activities. And since we were the first in the bank, so we were kind of like setting an example of how everybody else should work, which is kind of great. And next year we are getting our own budget, which is always great. And we were asked to do a roadmap. We didn't do a roadmap like that we two would sit and do it like on the desk, but we actually asked the whole team. We did in the form of, do you know Agile retrospective? So we did something very similar, community retrospective, and it actually like highlighted all the problems that we're tackling. It created a very reasonable roadmap for us what to do, and it's the pain points the whole community has. So everybody is behind the roadmap, and everybody is happy with it, and everybody's really like eager to start work. So I recommend to do it if you have a community. Do it at least once a year, maybe twice, 3 times. 27 seconds.
Yeah.
Come on, fast.
Very important things. Like we were showing this slide at our last year presentation, and most probably we're going to show it like all over again, like maybe next year, if we get some more presentations. If the task given to the team is garbage, then the outcome is going to be garbage, and the user experience is not going to fix this. It happened to us. We have digitalized some of the products we are not very proud of, that are not like perfect. Right now, we are trying to focus on like more like deeper understanding of our customers and building the new products on that. We've just created like a new insurance proposition, loan products, or current account for entrepreneurs based on that. But like actually same as with the success of our mobile app, we are now working on the success in some of the innovation projects.
And so this presentation was supposed to be about enterprise UX, but really it was about transformational period. When you take a complex organism such as the bank, you can't start to do everything right. So what we did, we just picked one thing and made it right, and then we scaled and we adjusted to how the bank was actually working, and we're getting ready, like solid ready to help with the most challenging stuff, which is the real innovation, the new products, and the omnichannel customer experience. And the transformation gave us like opportunity and platform to do it in the right way. By itself, it doesn't have to impact how you work, but yes, it allows you to do great things. And this was some serious know-how from us. Hope you enjoyed it.